Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome all viewers. This morning I received the following message in a group chat that I'm in. It was sent by a very knowledgeable brother, a teacher. He spent many years teaching in Islamic school. He does a lot of tutoring. He has his own classes. He's very in tune with the Muslim youth and with the deen and teaching. Allahumma barak. So he sent a link to a video that was just posted by the channel Alasna al-Haq, and this is what he wrote. With the approach of the beginning of the school year, and just to be aware of some of what our children are going through in their schools, many students shared with me some stories similar to what's mentioned in this video. We need to take it seriously and talk to our children about it. It's better that they know about it from us, from the Islamic perspective, than to let them melt in such environments, and preferably, we should place them in a better environment. Islamic school. JazakumAllahukhairan, and sorry about what you will see and hear in this video. So with that said, I actually want to play this video and I'll share some of my thoughts as we go through it. And please keep in mind, this is something that children in our communities are facing. This isn't just some sort of distant thing that is foreign that none of our children could possibly be experiencing. No, specifically, children from our communities have seen this same thing happen. They've been in these classrooms. And this is one of the many reasons why establishing good Islamic schools should be a priority of the Muslims in America, in the West. So without further ado, here is the video.
It's a teacher that's kind of not a guy and not a girl, like somewhere in between.
Oh, so you're kind of boy and you're kind of girl?
Kinda, yeah.
Me too, that's me.
Okay, right on.
I want to be a boy, but I don't like being a girl.
You know what? You have choices in this world to be all sorts of different things. But that's why it's MX, so Mix Chavez. That's where that comes from. I know some of you were a little confused. Some of you came and talked to me about it. What?
Is it technically like a tomboy? Is that what it is? Like, a girl that, like, acts or dresses like a boy?
Some people do identify that way. I'm actually trans, so I'm not a tomboy. I'm trans. But some people do, and I'm sure if they wanted to, they could also go by Mix in their classroom. Any other questions? Do you have any other questions, or can we move on?
All right, so a few things I want to highlight about this video. Number one, this is being recorded and posted by the teachers themselves. Just imagine what isn't being recorded and posted. So of course it's happening in person, it's being recorded, and it's being posted specifically to TikTok, which is primarily the social media app of choice for the youth. Now what's happening in this video is the teacher is identifying as MX or Mix. Now when I was in school, a male teacher would introduce himself as Mr. last name. An unmarried woman would introduce herself as Miss last name, and a married woman would introduce herself as Mrs. last name. Now, as we can see, there are teachers introducing themselves to their young students as Mix, to identify not as a male or as a female, but somewhere in between. Now keep in mind, brothers and sisters, these are the shuyukh of the children in this country. These are the scholars, where these children are learning what's right and wrong, where they're learning manners. As you can see in the clip, there are already students rushing to emulate them. One of the students say, "Dude, that's me." Now let's go to the next clip.
I am an out teacher at my school, out as both bisexual and trans. So none of the kids knew me as trans, but I wanted to talk about it. So what I did is, as soon as I came back, I joined up with the GSA, realized how many questions the kids had, and decided the best thing to do would be to host a Q&A. And I spent about 10 minutes talking about the difference between gender, sex, and sexual orientation, and then also talking about my own life story, sort of like the highlight reel of how I decided to come out.
So what did this individual say? They said, none of the kids knew me as trans, but I wanted to talk about it. So what did they do? They hosted a Q&A to spread the LGBT agenda. When you send your child to public school, this is what you can expect. Let's see the next clip.
I am Miss Watson, and I am... I am coming out as a Ladala Bean to all of you.
What does that mean?
A Ladala Bean is a lesbian, if you're not on TikTok.
Okay, so this teacher is coming out as a lesbian to her class. And again, keep in mind, these things are going on TikTok. She's making reference to some sort of slang that's used on TikTok. Next clip.
My favorite anxiety of the day today is that I'm going to have to deal with coming out to my students. I know most of them are just going to assume it already, but for the few that don't, that'll be a fun conversation, if it comes to that. Yeah.
He talks about the day's anxiety because, quote, I'm going to have to deal with coming out to my students. Why does he think he has to come out to his students? Well, apparently, he wants to come out to his students. This actually seems to be their favorite thing to talk to their students about. These teachers don't have to talk about these things, but they want to. They want to spread it amongst the students, regardless of whether or not you want them to. It's not about what you want your children to learn in school. It's about what they want them to learn. It's about what they want them to believe, as you'll see in the following clips.
So I'm not allowed to be out as trans non-binary at school. Do not come up in my comments saying that I am allowed, because I'm not. I live in Louisiana and it sucks here. So of course my response to this is to be as obnoxiously queer as possible. So I've got my rainbow hair with leopard print. I've got my rainbow glasses. Sometimes I wear pins too with various rainbow things on them. I don't have any today. I just have my COVID sticker. I wear things that do not match at all. Basically, my goal is to look like a unicorn threw me up. If I can't do that, what's the point?
So this person says that they're not allowed to be out as trans and unbinary. So do they respect that? No. They say, I quote, so of course my response to this is to be as obnoxiously queer as possible. Now let's watch another clip where another teacher talks about how little they care about what parents want.
I never tell parents, period. On their survey at the beginning of the year, when it asked for preferred name and pronouns, it also asked for what you want me to refer to you as when I call home and what pronouns to use. So then I just make sure when I'm calling home, I use what they prefer when I call home. Even if someone told me I couldn't do that and I couldn't call them whatever they want or the pronouns they want without parent permission, I would still do it.
So this teacher is saying that there's a survey in the beginning of the year asking for the preferred name and pronouns of the students. And it also asks them what to refer to them as when the teacher calls home. Why? To keep it hidden from the parent. The teacher then goes on to say, even if someone told me I couldn't do that without parent permission, I'd still do it. Now in the next clip, we find students actually pledging allegiance to the LGBT pride flag at school. Can you believe that?
So during third period, we have announcements and they do the Pledge of Allegiance. I always tell my class, stand if you feel like it, don't stand if you feel like it, say the words if you want, don't have to say the words. So my class decided to stand but not say the words. My room does not have a flag. It used to be there, but I took it down during COVID because it made me uncomfortable. And I packed it away and I don't know where, and I haven't found it yet. But my kid today goes, hey, it's kind of weird that we just stand and then, you know, we say it to nothing. I tell this kid, we do have a flag in the class that you can pledge your allegiance to. And he like looks around and he goes, oh, that one? The inclusive pride flag. I pledge allegiance to the queers.
So how do you feel about sending your child to public school where this is what's happening? Don't think that this isn't happening at your child's public school. In fact, this next clip shows us to what extent the students themselves are pushed to promote this LGBT agenda. And now our final clip for this video is of a preschool teacher. Preschool.
Story time. This has been my first year in preschool with a class of my own, teaching alongside another queer neurodivergent educator, and we have been rocking our Choose class. We've been talking about gender and skin color and consent and empathy and our bodies and autonomy. It's been fabulous. But our teaching team is shifting and a new person is being onboarded. So today at the lunch table, when the topic of gender and genitals came up, one of our students plainly looked up and said, "Well, I'm a girl today, but I know that teacher Co isn't." No, they're NB. And the look on the incoming teacher's face was priceless. She just looked around at the two of us and said, "This class is incredible and I am so impressed."
This teacher said, I quote, "So today at the lunch table, when the topic of gender and genitals came up, one of our students plainly looked up and said, 'Well, I'm a girl today, but I know that teacher Co isn't. No, they're NB.'" Preschool. So these are just clips of teachers themselves recording what they're doing and posting it on social media. We've already gotten reports of Muslim students experiencing these sorts of things at their schools. This is what public school is becoming in the West. When you send your child to a public school, just understand what you're throwing them into. We as Muslims, we as believers, have to make it a priority to establish good, thriving Islamic schools. Please check the link in the description. May Allah protect us and our children, make it easy for us and guide us to what's best. JazakumAllahukhairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.